If you watch my previous videos, somewhere I have made a statement that magma holds almost all the naturally occurring elements, but the proportion at which they do varies. One particular type of elements that are also present in very low amount answer the very question raised in this video. Dating of rocks is very important as it gives us precise dates for the events occurred in geological history so that we can build a timeline of what happened in Earth's past. Now the particular type of element that I was talking about are radioactive elements. These are the elements whose nucleus is not stable, which means that it has gained so much neutrons or protons that its strong nuclear force is not capable of holding it. So they have to reduce their nuclear mass, and they do so by a process called radioactive decay, and the element is called radioactive element. Different radioactive elements release a different combination of proton, neutron or positrons or electrons. These are called decay schemes, which varies from one element to other, about which we will bother in another video. So this unstable atom is called parent atom, and it decays to form daughter atom. Now what happens in rocks is, as the magma begins to crystallize, rock minerals that form within trap these radioactive atoms within their lattice, and whatever amount is trapped starts decaying, and the radioactive clock starts ticking exactly at the freezing point of mineral. Let's say after a certain time we want to check this clock out, which shows us how much time it has been since the rock formed. Well, it's not Alexa, so you can't just ask what time is it. So I guess we have to follow certain principles to find out. As time progresses, more and more parent atom transform into daughter. So the amount of parent atom that would be present after a time is governed by the equation on your screen. Pt is the amount of parent atom that is left in rock at the time we are checking the radioactive clock. P0 is the initial amount of parent atom that was trapped in the minerals when it formed. And lambda is the radioactive decay constant, which is different for different radioactive elements. And T is the time that we want to check out. So if we find out the amount of parent atom that was trapped inside the mineral when it formed and what is left now, with the lambda values established by lab experiments, we should be able to find time T. But we don't have initial parent atoms now. But the initial number of parent atoms is equal to parent atom that are present now plus the daughter atoms. So our equation becomes something like this. Now we just rearrange it. Now we can find out all the quantities needed to solve this equation. But there is one more thing to do. Since the magma contains all the elements, when crystal froze, it also trapped the daughter atoms. So the amount of daughter atom that we will be analyzing will also include the initial number of daughter atom that was trapped. So our equation becomes something like this. And again, we don't know out of the daughter atoms that are present now, how much of it is initially trapped and how much of these are decay products. But it does not matter. Why? Before I explain that, let's just add one more modification to the equation. When I say we need to find out the amount of parent or daughter in our sample, this is done by mass spectrometer that are of many different types, but all of them are designed in a way that they give us the ratio of radionuclides with respect to the stable daughter isotope. So we'll just convert the absolute values in our equation into ratios, and that does not change the meaning of equation anyway. The reason I said if we don't know d0, which is now d0 over ds, does not matter is because if we carefully observe the equation, it takes something of a form y is equals to mx plus c, and a plot of y versus x looks something like this, a linear curve. Now we bring our own equation and it looks like this. Our slope contains the information about time. So if d0 over ds is there in the equation or not, our slope is fixed, so time is not modified at all, and this linear curve is called isochrone, as the slope is constant at every point and hence the time. Now it is time to see our radioactive clock. So we have this plot axis. After analyzing at least two different samples from the same mineral, we can plot them and join a line which represents our isochrone. We can get our slope from this and calculate time. As the initial daughter nuclide is always present, you will always get an intercept on y-axis, which gives you d0 over ds. So now you can finally see your radioactive clock that tells you the time rock was formed. Make sure you subscribe to InfiTally so that you never miss a video from us.